Hare Krishna and welcome, my dear friends, to this sacred space where we embark on a journey of spiritual enrichment and inspiration. I'm deeply honored to have you join me today as we delve into the timeless pages of one of our authored books to recite a beautiful spiritual pastime. Within the pages of this book lies a tapestry of stories, a tapestry woven with the threads of devotion, wisdom, and love. The pastime I'm about to share holds a special place in my heart, and I believe it has the power to touch yours as well. As the words flow from the lips, let them be a bridge that connects us beyond the physical realm, transcending time and space. Let's remember that these stories are not just tales of the past, but living embodiments of eternal truths that resonate even today. Hare Krishna.
Sri Nityananda Prabhu decided to marry and settle down in Bengal after receiving Lord Chaitanya's instructions. Accompanying Sri Udharan Datta Thakur, his eternal associate, Lord Nitai set out for Ambika Kalna. Arriving at the doorsteps of Suryadas Sarkhel, Nityananda Prabhu waited outside as Sri Udharan rushed inside to inform the residents of the Lord's arrival. Surya Das held a very important post in the service of the king of Kauda and was hence awarded with the title Sarkhel. He used to earn a lot of money as his salary. Falling at Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet, Sri Surya Das offered him his humble obeisances and greeted the Lord wholeheartedly. The Lord then revealed that he had come to Kalna with a purpose and that he desired to have Surya Das's daughter as his wife. Surya Das Sarkhel knew everything about the identity of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. His brother Gauridas Pandit was the incarnation of the cowherd boy Subala in Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. But by the influence of the Lord's illusory energy, Surya Das forgot everything at that particular moment and refused the Lord's proposal upfront. He argued that it was not possible, as things had to be first considered based upon caste, stars and family background. He continued that he was a Brahman while Lord Nitai was an outcast. Being refused, Lord Nityananda immediately left the place while Suryadas went inside his house feeling disappointed. Meanwhile, Suryadas assembled his family members and explained to them what had just happened. He also described to them a dream that he had seen the previous night. He narrated that in his dream he had seen his two daughters, Vasudha and Jahnava, as Varuni and Revati Devi respectively. They shone like mountains of gold and kumkum. Adorned with fine clothes and jewelry, his two daughters stood on either side of Lord Nitai, who revealed himself as Lord Balarama. Hearing her father's words from inside the house, Mother Jahnava became overwhelmed with ecstasy. Tears of love glided down her beautiful face. She tried covering her face with a piece of cloth, but the whole cloth became soaked with tears. Hearing Suryadas's description, one of the family members remarked that one might see many things in their dreams. But Lord Nityananda is the Supreme Brahman and they are just petty householders. So how could they possibly offer their daughter unto him? As the family members were thus busy discussing, a sudden loud sound from inside the house caught everyone's attention. Something had happened to Mother Jahnava. She had fallen down unconscious and her eyes had rolled over in their sockets. Her entire body had become cold and she was perspiring profusely. A doctor was immediately called, who diagnosed and concluded that there was no treatment for her disease. Hearing this, her family members broke down and began crying piteously. Gauridas Pandit tried to console his brother, Suryadas, and suggested that they might have committed some offense at the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu and so they must beg for his pardon. He continued that if Nityananda Prabhu was somehow able to revive their girl, then they should accept and arrange for Jahnava's marriage with him. All members of the Sarkhel family promptly agreed. After a long search, they finally found Nityananda Prabhu sitting beneath a banyan tree. Tears glided down his beautiful eyes as he incessantly chanted the holy name of Krishna. All the relatives of Mother Jahnava surrendered unto his lotus feet. The Lord picked them up and asked, "My dear cowherd men, have you all forgotten me?" Surya Das replied that it was Nityananda Prabhu who had bewildered his intelligence. Though he was present in everyone's heart, yet he had not inspired Surya Das to give up his attachment to Varna Ashram Dharma. Saying thus, Surya Das sought shelter from the Lord. Actually, this is how the Lord sometimes bewilders his intimate associates in order to manifest his sweet pastimes. Surya Das, being his dear devotee, could realize this. Nityananda Prabhu then returned to Surya Das's residence and discovered Jahnava Mata lying at the doorsteps. Her body was covered with a cloth and the sunshine fell upon her beautiful face. Her condition was pitiable, with her eyes rolled over and the tears incessantly falling from them. The symptoms of impending death manifested in her body. To the surprise of all present, as soon as Lord Nityananda approached and as soon as his divine aroma entered Srimati Jahnava's nostrils, she immediately regained her consciousness. Getting up, she immediately covered her face with her cloth and entered the inner chambers of the house. Merciful Lord Nityananda then blessed all present by manifesting his six-armed form at the courtyard of Surya Das Sarkhel. Lord Nitai gave all a glimpse of his divine opulence. The upper two hands held a bow and arrow, the two middle hands held a plough and a stick, and the lower two carried a sannyastan and a water pot. His head was decorated with a crown, his ears were decorated with earrings, and his effulgent body was radiant with valuable jewels. But soon thereafter, the six-armed form vanished from everyone's vision and only the two-handed form of Nityananda Prabhu remained. The fortunate Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, who were able to behold this wonderful vision, began loudly chanting glories of the merciful Lord. On being inquired, Lord Nityananda expressed his approval, and thus his marriage with Srimati Jahnava Devi was fixed. All became very jubilant upon hearing this great news. From then on there was a continuous celebration at the residence of the Sarkhels. Friends and relatives arrived every other day. Musicians were hired and Brahmanas were fed sumptuously. The women distributed vermilion, pan, oil, betel nuts and sweets to all the arriving guests. On the day of the marriage, the Brahmanas brought the required paraphernalia for performing the sacrifices. Chanting the appropriate mantras, the Brahmanas placed a stick and a water pot upon Nityananda Prabhu's hands. Lord Nitai adorned a saffron kadara, carried a saffron bag upon his shoulders, wore wooden shoes and held an umbrella. The Lord then begged alms from his mother-in-law, who placed gold, silver and money into his bag. The ladies gazed at the enchanting form of Nityananda Prabhu, who reminded them of Lakshmana, the brother of Lord Ram. The Lord repeatedly kept laughing aloud. Thereafter the Lord entered a secluded inner room and resided there for 3 continuous days. On the morning of the 4th day, the Lord took darshana of the sun and the Brahmanas before coming out. The Lord then worshipped Vishnu and was made to sit upon a wooden throne. Hundreds of beautiful ladies arrived from Navadvip to participate in this wonderful event. Prior to the marriage, yellow threads were tied upon Lord Nitai and Mother Jahnava's hands. Joy and happiness flooded one and all. Some compared the beautiful couple with Lord Ram and Sita, while some compared them with Lakshmi and Narayana. Others compared their union like that of Kamadeva and Rati. People glorified the fortune of Mother Jahnava, who had received such a beautiful groom. The auspicious time for the marriage ceremony finally arrived. Surya Das Pandit requested the relatives to decorate both bride and the groom. Sri Gauridas Pandit put tilak and sandalwood paste upon the Lord's forehead, his beautifully raised nose, and his broad chest. The beauty of the Lord defeated that of a full moon. The sacred thread on his chest appeared just like Ananta Sesha covering Lord Balarama. The fragrant flower garlands and the valuable ornaments that he adorned added to his radiance. Meanwhile, the ladies decorated Srimati Jahnava with their undivided attention. Her hair was beautifully braided and a couple of colorful jute clusters hung from her head down to her back, which covered both her ears. Her forehead was adorned with tilak, and beautiful kumkum decorated her face. Black ointment was applied to her eyes, and she adorned a golden pearl on her nose. She wore a golden kanthi mala and a locket that hung upon her chest. Her beauty was matchless. Golden earrings, resembling campaka flowers, decorated her ears, and golden bangles bedecked her hands. Beautiful ankle bells graced her reddish feet. Thereafter Lord Nityananda was seated upon a palanquin and toured all over the city. The procession was accompanied by melodious singers and elegant dancers who added to the wonder of this blissful ceremony. The beauty of Nityananda Prabhu eclipsed that of millions of cupids. After travelling all around, the procession finally returned to the house of Suryadas Pandit. Nityananda Prabhu was then asked to stand on a wooden platform. Jahnava Devi was seated upon a beautiful throne and her relatives carried her around Nityananda Prabhu 7 times. Then the couple glanced at each other as the relatives showered flowers upon them. The spontaneous loving attraction between the divine couple was awakened. Srimati Jahnava held her head down in shyness on seeing the Lord of her life. Thereafter she was taken into a separate room, while the Brahmanas completed the formalities according to the scriptural injunctions. After offering jewelry, clothes and other items to Nityananda Prabhu, Suryadas formally accepted him as his son-in-law. Thereafter Nityananda Prabhu and Jahnava Mata were seated on a beautiful bed decorated with flowers. Several young girls entered the room as well and began teasing the newly wedded couple. In the morning, as per the Vedic injunctions, Lord Nityananda put vermilion, sindoor, on Srimati Jahnava's head. Subsequently, fire sacrifices were arranged. All the Brahmanas were then served a grand feast. Lord Nitai happily resided at Suryadas's house for a few days. We are exceedingly proud and honored to have visited and prayed at the sacred site of Sri Nitai and Srimati Jahnava's marriage at Kalna. Lord Nityananda's lotus footprints are preserved and worshipped here till this day. Srimati Vasudha Devi, the younger daughter of Suryadas Sarkhe, also had her mind fixed upon the lotus feet of Nityananda Rai. One day, while assisting her elder sister in serving prasad to Nityananda Prabhu, the sari covering her head slipped down. Since both her hands were engaged in serving, she manifested 2 more hands from behind, with which she covered her head again. Seeing this, Lord Nityananda caught hold of her hand and made her sit on his right. Thereafter he requested Suryadas Pandit to offer her second daughter unto him as well. Lord Nityananda said that he would take her as his dowry. Suryadas Pandit and all his relatives approved of the proposal and became very happy. All present greatly glorified Suryadas as the fortunate one who had purchased Lord Krishna in this age of Kali. Thus the residents of Ambika Kalna floated in an ocean of bliss.